Good morning. It is a beautiful Sunday. It's actually not too hot out yet here in Austin, Texas. Just got back from walking my dog. I wanted to do this video to talk about exactly how I actually use Whoop, kind of illustrate how, if you're looking at it, how it can affect your day or change your schedule, because I know from all the physiological metrics that I have, it's increased things like my sleep, my mental health, my actual overall physical health, my cardiovascular health, because that's the big focus with the strain score, and just a vast variety of metrics all around. Just everything's improved because of the Whoop strap. I wear it on my bicep every single day. I never take it off, and it's just something that I peek at and look at every day. This video is gonna be more detailed about like my thought process, talking about how I've changed or what I'm doing and experimenting with in terms of my routine. So it's not what I do every single day. I probably spend a total of maybe 3 minutes most focusing on the data of my Whoop strap. It's just, again, this is to give you a more in-depth picture of how I think about the metrics. And just for people, any doubters out there that have watched my videos, I am an affiliate of Whoop, which just means that if you use my link, I get a kickback. But I have no personal relationship or loyalty to Whoop. My job with what I do with my YouTube channel is to give you the best products that I think are out there, give you the breakdown, and then if anything else comes along, I'll tell you why that one's better. So if anything ever comes out that's better, and at least in terms of my needs of what Whoop does, I'm there. I'm 100%. People have mentioned things like Oura Ring. I'll tell you the thing about Oura Ring, that the reason I haven't actually used it is because if you go on their website, it tells you you can't or you shouldn't be working out with the ring. I do a lot of barbell movements. I never wear any rings. So that's probably the closest to what Whoop does, but because of that limitation, I don't touch it. So until something better comes along, this is what I'm gonna tell you is the best 24/7 tracker out there. So I'm gonna get some supplements in me, I'm gonna get some breakfast, and then we're gonna talk about what kind of day I got laid out and how I look at my routine. I personally, it's 8 o'clock, I haven't looked at my phone. I don't look at my Whoop metrics until much later because I just don't wanna look at my phone immediately. But we'll get a peek at that, fill out the journal, I'm gonna get some food. All right, breakfast in me. One other thing that you didn't see that I did this morning, and I do it before I eat, and it wakes me up, is an ice bath. It's something I'm experimenting with, and the way I'm able to experiment with things like supplementation or altering my schedule and adding things like an ice bath or a sauna is looking at my Whoop metrics. So I just started that about a week and a half ago. We'll see where that goes. There's a lot of physiological reasons like immunity, fat loss, stress management that you would do these things that perhaps maybe don't show up on Whoop, but there's things like HRV that is tracked on Whoop that you can go into. I highly recommend, if you haven't, seeing my more formal videos of me going in depth in each aspect of Whoop. And I want to say and be clear that some of the things that I talk about is either the way Whoop actually interprets things or calculates things, or the way I personally utilize Whoop. So my general schedule is that I work out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, work out Friday, Saturday, off Sunday. Now when I say off, there's usually some like active recovery or some like skill work that I'm doing. Wednesday, Thursday is more of like a flip-flop day, and that's where Whoop really comes in handy. And so is Saturday, Sunday. And the reason being is that like I look at Whoop and I see my recovery score. Sometimes it's green, like lately it's been green a lot. I always tell people like stick to your game plan. Don't let it really dictate what you do. And if you don't know what this is, it's just your sleep metrics, your HRV, and what you did the previous day and how well you recovered. So I'm talking about the recovery score, and they're color coded. Sunday, today, we're gonna work out. I don't know my score, but I'm sticking to my game plan. One thing people don't do, and I have to say, you need to do it. Whoop can only give back what you give it. So there's monthly assessment reports that you're gonna get that you can break down exactly how your recovery was affected based on how you answered your journal. I don't go too in depth, like there's a slider on here that you can see how many drinks, blah, 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 just because to me it takes too much time. I found that for me, it's just good enough to answer yes or no on these. So you see my HRV trending down. I think I've been overtraining. I ate like complete crap yesterday. I definitely enjoy myself on the weekends. Resting heart rate was up. Average is 50. I tend to be on the lower end. Usually it's about 48. And the respiratory rate's been down. And I'll say part of the experimentation that I've been doing at night, my 8 Sleep cooling mattress, smart mattress, takes your biometrics. If you haven't seen my review on that, go check it out. It has dropped my respiratory rate. Usually it's been 17.5 and up, and it's now 17.5 and below and teetering at 17 actually. So a couple points when you're looking at your metrics. There are two that are going to be specific to you that you shouldn't be looking at anybody else or comparing. HRV being one of them, genetics, sex, age, tons and tons of factors that are why your HRV is either high or low. I have seen people at my gym with 200 and up, and then the older you get, I've seen people that are lower. So as long as mine's trending up or down, I really don't care what it is. I'm doing things to improve it because I believe like my highest ever has been like 110. I don't know what triggered that. When I'm teetering in like the 60 to 70 range, I know that my body, according to my statistics and my metrics, is healthy. Same with respiratory rate, adults 12 to 20 range of breaths per minute. The only time that you're going to be worried about that is if it jumps up. Like the reason I got the Whoop in the first place was because of respiratory rate metric. That wasn't something that's on. It's on the Apple Watch now. And it bumped up, and that was a good indication of COVID. So it's a good physiological signal of a potential illness before you actually experience symptoms yourself. So those are things I look at. I want to make sure my resting heart rate's staying low. So even though my HRV is down, respiratory rate is okay. My resting heart rate is down. If I go back to the main screen, you're going to hit down here and see optimal day strain of 11.1. Based on what I have planned for myself today, which includes after I get done discussing this, I'm going to take Indy, my dog, to the dog park. That's going to be a low accumulation of strain, but I've got a workout. I'm doing a progression of improving my squat, clean, and snatch. On top of that, there's a games workout that was posted that I want to do, and I'm going to show you that. And the reason that's going to give a good illustration, because a lot of people, when they talk about their strain score, if you're not someone that does a cardiovascular intensive type of workout, whether it's running or CrossFit or any sort of high intensity training, you aren't going to have a high strain score. And people are confusing strain, cardiovascular strain, with muscle strain. And that's not something that you can really do. The purpose of the focus of the cardiovascular strain is because it's related to our overall health. I'm someone that would go to the gym, do the bodybuilding style workout, and have poor cardiovascular health. I've since switched with the focus of Whoop, and I do things like, just with no training, go climb a mountain. Like I went and climbed Mount Hood. My health, my cardiovascular health, was able to sustain that, and I did it with absolutely no problem. That's why the big focus is on cardiovascular strain and not muscular strain. So if you're someone that does do a bodybuilding workout, you are going to get that heart rate up, but it's not going to be to the level of like a higher strain score. So I can imagine someone like that having like a 10 or lower. I personally always go for 12 or higher with my workouts, and it's just my overall health is better for it. I'm going to enjoy my coffee, get to the park, and this video is just going to jump around from here on out just because I'm just going to show you accumulation of strain, different exercises, how it affects you, and we'll get to it. So we're headed to the park, but there was a couple things that I thought about discussing after I got off the last recording. Number one, your strain score is personalized, so your comparison of whatever you get to someone else is going to be different just based on your overall cardiovascular health. So Whoop's going to calibrate every now and then to give you like an updated. So my score, if I were to get a 14 today, isn't going to be the same 14 that I got way back when I first got the device, because my cardiovascular health is much better. Some other things that I wanted to touch on was, I said that I had breakfast in the morning. Intermittent fasting is a very popular thing that people do. I personally, for maintenance calories at this point, is anywhere from 2,800 to 3,200 calories per day. For me to do something like intermittent fasting and cramming in an 8-hour window that many calories wasn't something that was good for my body, at least from my physiological metrics. I feel much better spanning out everything throughout the day, but eating before 8 p.m. That's just me. So that's something that I use because I used to do intermittent fasting. I was more on a carnivore diet prior to having the Whoop strap, and since then I have a more balanced, more carb heavy diet. I eat throughout the day, and that's just because I feel better and my metrics show that. Another thing, I was looking at my sleep metrics that I want to touch on, is that I mentioned that I'm doing things with like cold therapy with like the 8 sleep. My awake time is down, and that's also the experimentation that I've been doing with Whoop's data. And again, I just feel much better. My sleep efficiency is better. I spend less time awake, more time in bed, and it's just been incredible. So I think that's it, Indy, right? Where's she at? All right, see, we've only accumulated 0.9 on our day strain. I mean, it was a 25-minute walk. It's just so hot, so I stopped. Want to know how hot it is? Look what she did. Indy. She jumped in the truck. Okay. So I keep talking about heart rate, day strain, and everything, and like, why do I keep harping on it? It's because let's think about it. Let's think about how our bodies have evolved over hundreds and thousands of years, and then only in a short time period, our bodies have become more sedentary. Our access to food has become more easy and cheaper, and we're using cheaper ingredients, and cholesterol is high, and like I said, people are dying at a crazy rate every year. At 18 million people, even more people are experiencing heart attacks without even knowing, and we're talking about people 18 years of age that are doing this, which is insane. Our bodies have evolved to adapt and to become more fit, and our hearts to handle a strenuous cardiovascular load. And what happens when we get our heart rate up is we get more oxygen throughout the body. We push a lot of this bad shit through our system and it gets filtered. When we remain sedentary, it just sits there, gets sedentary, and then builds up plaque and all this other nasty crap in our bodies. So without actually pushing our heart rate, we don't get this stuff flushed out of the system, we don't get better cardiovascular health, and in turn we just ruin our quality of life. So this big focus with Whoop and cardiovascular strain is incredible. If I were to think back before, when I was not focused on this and doing more of a bodybuilding stuff, I'm 6 foot tall, maybe a little over, and I was getting to the point of like 225, 230 pounds of what I thought was just beefed up muscle. And in reality it wasn't. I had like extra body fat and a whole bunch of this shit that I just didn't need on my body. And then as I adapted and I got into more of like a HIIT style, CrossFit style workout, and realized what the big focus is with cardiovascular health, because my cardiovascular health was shit while I was doing bodybuilding, and I'm sure it's gonna be the same for a lot of people, it just evolved. I lost a bunch of fat. I got down from what was probably closer to like a 20% body fat down closer to 10% body fat, and my overall health and quality of life has just been much better. So we hear about things like I just got done with a walk of 10,000 steps, and people don't know that 10,000 steps is just a stupid arbitrary number that actually came from a Japanese manufacturer when they created pedometers, I think in like the 70s or 80s, and that number has just stuck. Now, if you're someone who's just getting back into fitness and needs a reason to move and needs a goal to move, 10,000 steps is gonna be great. But overall, you're much better off getting your heart rate up, doing other things like resistance training, weight training, or just anything fun above what walking is gonna get you. Because what's that gonna get you? I mean, depending on your physical health, maybe in like the 130s, when you should really try, of course, after consulting a physician, pushing your heart rate to the max, which is 220 minus your age. So mine's 188 that I try to get near or close. So anywhere in the 50% of that to the actual 188 heart rate, and I've exceeded it even more. And overall, it helps your body adapt. You can actually eat crap and not feel bad about your overall health and keep all your levels low. So just wanted to touch on that. I got to get here to some AC and probably touch back next on supplementation prior to my workout and how that's evolved, and then actually getting into the workout. All right, next thing, supplementation, how it's affected through the different metrics on the Whoop. And I know this video is getting pretty long, but again, there's a lot to cover. So pre-workout is one thing that can really screw up some people's metrics. For me, I'm someone who would be considered caffeine adapted, so I do take a pre-workout that does have caffeine in it. If you're not caffeine adapted, you're probably someone that gets like too much of a pump. Another thing that can cause that is the ingredients not being mixed well, and your dosage of caffeine in one scoop is not the same as the other. I use First Form. I'm gonna do a supplement series on the ingredients that I look for within a pre-workout and some research about what's in it. But just messing with the different supplements, here's essential amino acids that I also take. It's looking at how sleep's affected. So I like to work out midday because through my circadian rhythm, if my body gets heated up and my heart pumps too much later in the day, I notice that my sleep actually sucks. So if I can get in midday sometime before like 2-3 p.m., that is ideal for me, and that's something that I've experimented with, whether it's with supplements or your timing of when you work out. That's something to look for and something that people don't think about. If I work out too late, then I'm up late. If I take certain supplements at the wrong time of day, then I know that I'm going to be screwed up in the back end of things. Vitamin C is another thing that I add to my pre-workout just because I noticed that my recovery is much better and that my muscle and my perceived recovery is also much better. And again, link in the description for exactly what supplements I take and the breakdown. Supplement series coming. This is just for the Whoop. So I'm going to be eating real quick. I got an awesome new piece of cardio equipment, and then I'm going to show you the difference between working out in like a traditional, like heavy building strength, what happens with your heart, versus doing a very intense cardio session with the new piece of equipment I got. So I'm super excited. It's going to take me a bit, digest, relax a little bit, been running around, and then we're going to get to it. By the way, this First Form nut butter, this is brownie batter, is insane. It's so good with banana. All right, so now we get to really the big change of having something like the Whoop strap. Focus on that cardiovascular strain. What has changed is, yes, I really focus on the strength portion. So the first part I'm gonna show of accumulating strain is gonna be heavy stuff. I'm doing like a progression of percentages following Squat University's recently released program. It's focused on getting better at the snatch, the squat, and the clean. But there's also going to be a hit portion. Going to do a games workout. It's 21-15-9, 21 calories on the Rogue Echo bike. I just got this thing and I absolutely love it. It's the nightmare. If you're going to build out a gym, I would say this is the first piece of cardio equipment you should get. And then 105-pound snatch. Again, 21-15-9, going back and forth. And what you're going to see is how the strain scores accumulated between the two. Yes, I'm probably going to hit hopefully 120 up on the lifts, but on this, I expect my heart rate to get at least north of 150. I'll get it.
On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going.
Okay, so I'm gonna lay here for a little bit until my heart rate recovers, because it's gonna be a while. Clean up the garage, gym, and head back up. And we're gonna round this off with the end of day review. So I'll see you then. All right, so that wraps it up for the day. Hit a 14.2 strain of the day. For me, that is gonna be on like the upper end of things. When I really push myself is about a 16 strain. I've only hit 20 once, and that was when I climbed Mount Hood. I just gotta make sure I recover. So I hit my legs pretty hard, and I use these every day anyway, Normatec boots. I've done a review on these. Went ahead and I took my vitamins for the night. I used the First Form Micro Factor Pack. It's got a bunch of mineral complexes, vitamin complexes that cover everything that I need. Again, if you want to hit the link in the description of what I take and what supplements I take, everything is just dialed in into how my metrics act. So if I do everything correctly, even with a 14 strain, I should wake up tomorrow in the green and ready to go. And that's just how I keep my body moving, keep pushing my heart health, keep pushing my strength. And as long as I use the Whoop metrics as well as my own subjective perspective of what I'm taking, it's elevating myself to that next level. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hit the like button, subscribe if you loved it. leave a comment if you like these vlog type of styles. I could do more vlog workouts and more throughout the day kind of things. They're not the easiest thing to do. This one ran a little long. It was just a lot of information. It is fun to do, and it's a different like creative outlet for me. So let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna put these boots on, wind down for the night, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.